This year at South by Southwest, literally every party was being planned on EventBrite, and I am so honored to have the two co-founders of EventBrite here with me to talk about what's going on in their great business. So first of all, who are you?
Robert.
I'm Julia Hartz. I'm the co-founder and president of EventBrite.
And who are you?
Kevin Hartz. I'm Julia's husband.
Hey.
And the CEO and co-founder of EventBrite.
That means she's really the CEO.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an emeritus title for me. She really runs the show.
I bet. That's the way it works. Congrats on your guys' success. I usually don't interview people after they've founded a rocket ship going to the moon, right? I usually talk to them when they're trying to figure it out in their garage.
We still feel like we're trying to figure it out, so it's a mindset.
So what? Yeah, that's funny when you say that, because it feels so early for us. We're just getting started. You know, we have like 0% market share in Japan, for example. So we're just getting started. We're just rolling out our first reserve seating product. Like, what kind of ticketing company doesn't have a reserve seating product this far into it? So it's early for us. We've got a lot of market.
I use that at my birthday party because I'm seating people, and I want to see who they pick to sit next to, you know, if they can figure that out.
That's great.
Well, you have to be careful because right now it's only best available, but the next release will have pick your own seat.
That would be cool.
Yes.
You know what's cool is that you can set the sort of focal point in the room on the reserve seating module, and so you should set the focal point at wherever you're going to be.
Yeah.
So then the best seats in the house will be near you. And so you can work that for your birthday party. Everybody wants to be near the birthday boy.
In fact, we should change the name from Focal Point to Scoville Point.
Yeah.
Because you're the center of it.
I think we'll just do changing chairs all night long. So
Happy 25th, by the way.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Turning 50, that's crazy.
It's like an MTV show that, you know, Sweet 16 or something.
So what's happening in your business? Because you've taken over a market, maybe not Japan yet, but certainly in my world, there's no real choice anymore. EventBrite is it. So what's the challenge for the business at this point where you're growing fast and you're hiring, I don't know, you're at 400 employees, right? So you're probably hiring a dozen a month, or maybe even as many as 50 a month?
Like we're hiring fairly aggressively, but it's just, you got to tap the brakes and make sure you get quality people. And so
that's hard
I would
to do
argue
right
that,
now.
and I'm very proud of we're very proud of the fact that we're not just scooping folks off the street. We're spending a lot of time finding the right people, finding the best talent. We talk a lot about talent density is the term that we use at EventBrite, is how do you do more with fewer people? And so we're scaling up, but really finding the best talent out there is the name of the game.
That's right, and being patient and focusing on quality is certainly challenging, as you just mentioned, especially in San Francisco. And so one of the great things that we've done in the last 2 quarters is open an office in Nashville.
Yeah.
We're also building a team in Mendoza, Argentina through
Nashville
a company.
makes sense for music, right?
Yes.
Because the music industry is there. One of my friends lives there. So.
And what's interesting about Nashville is it's not just the music, it's the draw that music has. So actually, Nashville is a huge business events center of the U.S. People want to have their conferences and conventions there because they also get to come to Nashville and experience the music. So it's a great environment for us, and we're building a great team out there. We're also building teams around the world. Mendoza, Argentina, we acquired Eventios last year. They have an amazing dev team down there. So we're finding that we can diversify now with scaling the team, but Kevin's right. I mean, we aren't just scooping people off the street. It's really metered and thoughtful. I mean, we're the only people that were scooped off the street, you and I.
We've been, and what we're working on is, you know, we've been working so hard to make you as the event organizer happy. Yeah. That's been, you know, our mantra for years and years. And now the second aspect of that is really focusing around consumers and around those that are attending events. Our next chapter, as we just talked about and announced it here at TechCrunch, is how do we become the place to find things to do? And that's an enormous challenge. It's not going to be easy. You know, it's one of these very long journeys that we're just embarking upon now. Very exciting.
That leads into a question. I visited the Sacramento Kings recently, and they walked me around, and they want to do ticketless entry. So they want to, and I do too. I don't want to, you know, at my birthday party, I don't want somebody there checking EventBrite. I just want you to walk in and something on their iPad beeps and says, "Oh, Julia's here," yay.
Well, I mean, the announcement, I'm dying to find out,
Yeah.
did Apple include NFC in the new phone? I don't know. That's a big,
I'm sure well, we'll figure it out as soon as the cameras are off, because
so
yes, they're already
a ticket
onto
is
the
this
iWatch, which says
crazy
something.
antiquated thing, and how do you get rid of the ticket? The phone is the natural next step there.
Well, and I think we all know that it rests in mass adoption of technology. So, we've built this ecosystem and this developer platform that allows for thousands of developers to create amazing ways for people to enter the event or to experience the event in ways that we find really important, but we have to focus on our core, right? And our core is really helping consumers find great live experiences to attend, and also help organizers sell more tickets. And so I think, what Kevin mentioned about NFC would be a huge step forward, because we want that mass adoption of technology.
So are you going to compete with bands on town, those kinds of apps that show you where cool things are? Is your data getting to that place?
Yeah, we're inspired by Bounds in Town, Songkick, all these.
Yeah.
There's how do you discover things happening around you? Now they're focused on head inventory.
And Foursquare, right?
Yeah, Foursquare, maybe perhaps more in that vein. I would point to a lot of this is focused on the head inventory, and we're really, with all this interesting
because
stuff
where all
happening.
the cool events are. You know the events in South by where the VIPs all are.
We wish
because
we knew we'd be much cooler, but we
EventBrite, not you guys.
Yes, the proverbial we. We had
So
over
you
1
can
million
block them.
events last year actively attended on EventBrite. And so if you think about that, it's much more than the marathons. It's the mud races. It's not conferences. It's not just conferences. It's the Comic-Cons and the cosplays. There are all these amazing subcategories of live experiences that people want to find out about, that they want to attend. And that's what we're really passionate about.
And that tickets are available, right? Because
Exactly.
a lot of times you're hearing about a cool band coming to town, and tickets aren't available, and then you have to go to Second Mark and all that fun stuff. And it's like too much work.
It's no fun at all, and it creates ill will with consumers. I think that what we really strive to do is delight consumers and really help customers and people who are attending events like you and I find great inventory, and then be able to seamlessly and delightfully buy their ticket, gain access, go to the event. I just had an amazingly difficult time buying a ticket to a big sporting event, and it made me realize how far we still have to go to really disrupt this industry. I think the opportunity is there, but for us, it's about finding this great wealth of opportunity in the long tail of ticketing, in this small to medium-sized local events.
So it sounds like you're growing internationally. That's one growth path. Are you trying to actively take share away from the ticket masters, or is that sort of a longer-term goal? You're just looking at growth
we
international.
Have this focused around, there's just so many categories. Endurance race. We're going back to sit down with a big race director after this. There's conferences like the Tech Crunches and so on. There's just classes. We're rolling out a new product around how to serve specifically classes. There's just so much there's so many directions for us, why compete in the red ocean is the business analogy to why go after these hyper competitive markets. We have all this interesting inventory that's happening around, and we have this experiential economy that's emerging, and we want to be at the center of that.
Yeah. You guys are a different kind of leadership team than I see at most startups.
How so?
I don't know. You're married, first. What's different about EventBrite? If I walked around with you guys, what would I notice that's different from a Google or a Twitter internally?
Well, I think now that we're at some scale in terms of headcount at 400 Brightlings, I can say without a doubt that the company is starting to really look like the world. So there is a lot of, for us, we're very proud of having gender equality at EventBrite, but also diversity from different backgrounds and different perspectives. And I do think that being a female, male, male. We have Renaud Visage, who was crazy enough to co-found the company with a married couple. I think that we really have the opportunity to model different leadership styles and to create a perspective that is more well-rounded. I couldn't have told you that a few years ago because you're just, you know, growing your team, you're not quite sure what it's going to look like. We just looked for the best people. But it's very exciting to see that play out. And I take that very seriously to be, you know, role model for other women in the company. And I'm honored to be a leader. But Kevin is, you know, he's our CEO, and so I think that's really important to point out that, as we joked in the beginning, who's in charge, you know, we're operating the company together, but there's one leader, and we're so lucky to have him, and I think that's probably what's also different about our dynamic. There are no, you know, leadership or power struggles that I know of. Only at home with our children. Just kidding.
I bet. Who gets the dishes,
and our
right?
puppy.
I think there's something going on. I think there's a fundamental shift in the technology industry from a box that used to sit on our desk, which a nerd could really go to town with, to things that we're wearing, like a smartwatch, you know, and whatever Apple just announced. And these products require a different kind of leadership skill, a different kind of go-to-market strategy. They need to be empathetic. I'm sorry. I don't go to the guys for a lot of empathy.
Don't talk to me about it.
By the way, you guys weren't really raised that way, right? And we have to think about the fact that it's not that you don't think it's important. It's just we have a long way to go in terms of all of us having well-rounded skills. And I think every co-foundership should look for complementary skills.
No, it's also fashion.
There is fashion.
I'm sorry, I can't dress myself either.
That's quite fashionable, Robert.
You know, getting a red with red shoes, that's fashion. But
you nailed
it. Do you have red shoes?
Damien, who was Snoop's manager, and I were spending some time last night, he was like, dude, we have to dress you up.
Is this dressed up?
This is not dressed up.
No, this is not dressed up. Okay.
He's like, we're going to work on you.
I can't wait to see what you wear to your birthday party.
I know, see?
Yeah.
How has this thing changed what you're able to do with building a company today, and where you can take a company like EventBrite? I guess that'll be the end of it.
You take any old industry like ticketing, and it's just fraught with these inefficiencies, lack of innovation, high fees, all this infrastructure costs, and you take and you basically apply this paradigm, like what can that device do? It becomes your ticket. It helps you find things to do. It's location aware. That's on the consumer side. On the organizer side, you're putting on a conference or you're holding a class. All of a sudden, you have a scanner that's just as powerful or more powerful than existed, you know, in the biggest ticket players' hands. Or you have a box office, or you have a mechanism to collect money. So it becomes. You know, that really just democratizes. It really opens the field up, and we're really riding some exciting waves. Whether it's cloud computing that's allowed us to scale up and down to these devices. So it's a great time to be an entrepreneur. It's a great time to build a company and be much bigger than you actually are with the technology.
And I think it's not just about this, obviously, this device, but it's about ubiquity.
Yeah.
You know, today we're thinking about how we can be accessible.
People are getting this, right?
Exactly.
And a lot of them are on the internet for the first time thanks to this.
Exactly.
They don't know the Microsoft Windows or the Macintosh world. We all know pretty well.
And it's that access point. And so for entrepreneurs and for people building technology, they should be thinking about how they get it into the hands of everybody and how you achieve ubiquity through multi-platforms. And it's more complicated, but also more simplified in a way to develop for these platforms.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Tell me a little bit.
Thank you, Robert.
It sounds like we're going to expect some new EventBrite apps soon that'll tell us all sorts of fun stuff to do, right?
We have a lot of fun stuff in the pipeline you'll see really soon, coming in weeks away.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thanks
Robert.
for helping us plan events.
Thank you.
Happy
Bye.
birthday. That was fun.